Hello and welcome to Norway. It's round 5 of the 2018 FIA World Rallycross Championship. We're getting ready for qualifying 4, but that is his own personal hell for Mattias Ekström because he's in the stewards room. Controversy in qualifying 3, contact between Mattias Ekström and Petter Solberg has given Mattias Ekström a 5-second penalty. He's coming out. Is he smiling? Let's actually go straight and see if we can get a word with him. So that's Mattias Ekström. He's just over there. We can't see if we can't climb over the fence. Mattias, sorry, we're live right now. Can you give us hot off the press? What's the decision?
Yeah, you can read by yourself. It's pretty easy to read.
Okay.
Actually, I can give you as a present for you.
Thank you. So
you can give it back to my
But you did. But you okay, I will do. But so did you appeal? You tried to get it rescinded?
No, I did not appeal. I just wanted to understand how they can take a decision, and that's why.
Okay. Thanks, Mattias. So yeah, we have been handed this piece of paper, and it says Mattias Ekström pushed and overtake number 11 in turn 1.
Give it to my guys because
of course, I'll deliver it. So I'm a courier now. And unsportsmanlike behaviour during a competition is the final word of the stewards. There we go, 5-second penalty signed by all 3 of the FIA stewards. So what that means is he drops, all his hard work means he drops down the overall standings. Where is his people aren't here. Oh, let's go and give it over there. Just do my job, delivering pieces of paper. Thank you very much. I'll hand it to your team. Not very happy faces. Now, let's have a look over here. Now, also, obviously, we're going to do a recap of what happened in qualifying 3 very shortly, and we're going to show you all the action from qualifying 4. Another controversial issue was this gentleman here, Sebastian Loeb, failed to take his joker in qualifying 3, which has dropped him to dead last in that heat, which means he is in the first race of qualifying 4 coming up shortly. But what it does mean is he gets a chance to race alongside Grégoire de Moustier, so the team boss can keep an eye on his young protege. Let's try and get a word with a driver. Now, it's great to see Alex Wirtz. His Rallycross education is picking up this weekend. Sorry, sir. And I'll just dive in and speak to the Le Mans and Formula 1 legend. Alex, qualifying 3 looked like you really started to get into the rhythm of what Rallycross is all about.
Well, you know, after a night's sleep, it starts to sink in a little bit. But I have fun, you know. I'm still a bit cautious on the gravel going sideways because it is my first time on gravel. But I really love it, you know. It's like this banging, and after the choker lap when it gets tight, you have to spot on the radio. That's also cool, you know, and I'm really getting hooked.
Now you're doing Rallycross. We know that this is your first time, but it's in your family, sort of spanning the generations. Tell us, if people weren't watching yesterday, why it's important to you.
No, it's our family. You know, Rallycross runs in our blood. My dad was 3 times European champion. At the time, there was no World Championship, so he was the big dog of Rallycross against Martin Schantje at the first golden era of Rallycross. And I grew up on the tracks. I went Sweden, Norway, everywhere with my parents. So I love the sport from childhood on. My son Felix, he is also doing Rallycross. He started even before me. He's 16. He started last year, and after years of talking to Team Austria, to Max Bucher, I finally found the time this weekend. I had just one little shakedown, so definitely not enough preparation to play with all these stars. You know, I mean, I'm lining up here next to Loeb and all these guys with no experience, which shouldn't be an excuse. I know I jumped in a deep water into hell, but I love it. You know, I have to start somewhere, and it's really cool stuff.
And your helmet's a beautiful design. Do you still design your own helmets?
I design them and I paint them myself, so I airbrush them.
You physically airbrush them yourself?
Yeah, absolutely, in my bathroom, and my wife hates it because it leaves a big mess behind. But I got so fed up that the designers and the painters, they don't do exactly how I want it, so the only choice is do it yourself.
So you're like Banksy?
Well, no, I'm a bit far from that, but you know, it's a kind of therapeutic, you know, therapeutic? How
Therapeutic.
So, yes, motion. I love and hate it, but anyway, that's my helmet.
And you also do TV as well. You're like multi-talented. Amazing. Good luck in Q4. I hope you do well.
All in. There's no choice now. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. That's Alex Wirtz. Now, don't forget, you're watching this on the live stream. Tell us where you're watching from. Tell us who you're rooting for. Tell us what you think about the stewards' decision from qualifying 3 that affected this guy. Let's see if we can get a word with another driver before qualifying 4 gets underway. Let's go up to Jerome. Jerome, we're live. Obviously the car is good now. Are you happy with what's been going on so far? Because it looks like it's been frustrating this weekend.
Yeah, so far it's been frustrating, you know, because we had a problem in Q1. I had an impact in Q2 in my rear right. But yeah, I'm happy with the car, and we still improve, and we have made some few improvements. Of course, we've been fast in the free practice, so it means we have things to get the pace, but now we have to put it all together to make it to the end of the race.
And this circuit is a very special circuit up here in the mountains, sort of undulations. Do you enjoy it, or is it just too hard work?
No, it's never too hard. It's very, very good to drive, and the feeling and the rhythm is really amazing. And I always enjoy to come and to drive here. It's a proper RX track, like old style, you know, with good gravel, with up and down, and yeah, it's a very good feeling to drive.
Okay, well, we'll enjoy watching you do all of that up and down in about 5 minutes' time. Good luck. Thank you. Of course, qualifying 4 you're watching now, which is we can hear the engines firing up for race 1, so that's coming up very shortly. Mind your back, Bob, you're about to get bumped by Timur Timosyanov. Of course, the live television show starts at 2 o'clock local time for 2 hours, so check the website where you can watch it in your country, but for now, stick with us live, tell us where you're watching from, and let's go to the commentary booth, where I think Andrew Coley and Guy Wilkes should be standing by to guide you through qualifying 4.
Very much looking forward to this, but a couple of talking points from Q3. So first of all, Ekstrom and that 5-second penalty, he was hard into the side of Solberg, and then Loeb, of course, missing the joke lap. So we can show you some of that action now. Let's take a look back at Q3. Well, in a moment, anyway, we'll have a look back at Q3. It is coming, I promise, I've been told. They're sending it down the pipe. There we are. So Q3, this was early race. This was Markman heading into the joke lap, giving himself a little bit of space. Contact there between Rajala and Rustad. I had another look at that, and actually Grosjean pushed Rustad wide, and that was why Rajala hit him. So Rajala jokering late in the race, and you'll see that Markman came out in front, and that allowed him to go on to take the win. So we have to wait until the later races to see the real drama that was at the top of the field. Have a look at this, Backerud, and this is important because it's a similar incident but not quite the same to Ekstrom and Solberg. This is on board with Backerud. He's up the inside of Larson, a little bit of contact. I think you'll see this from the outside in just a moment as well. So have a look here. Backerud moves across to cover the inside line. Here, he's up the inside, he's in the side of Larson, but Guy, that's fair.
Rallycross.
Yes, exactly, that's Rallycross. Well said, well said. Now, Kevin Hansen held on for the win here. Backerud slotting in behind him, lost just enough time in the first corner, but I think we're going to see the first of our instance. We are. Now, talk us through this, Solberg versus Ekstrom. Why is it different?
I'd like to see it from Ekstrom's on board, but I don't know if he has one. Obviously, a big hit in the side of Petter Solberg, and he is pointing the opposite direction to what he needs to be going. Yes, you do put it into that corner very sideways, not that sideways for that long.
And that was a 5-second penalty. I mean, Ekstrom obviously disagreed because he went to see his student and said, look, why have you made this decision? But, you know, for whatever reason, it's going to stick. Now, watch this. Sebastian Loeb on the standard lap. He hasn't jokered. Behind him, everybody has. And that's going to mean then that he gets a 30-second penalty. And that means where you saw him in the last race of Q3, you're going to see him in the first race of Q4. Christopherson with 350 points has won all the sessions so far. Could he do the second ever clean sweep? Remember, Backerud did one here a few years ago. Now, interestingly, look, if you were looking earlier on, you'll remember Ekstrom had moved up from 4th to 8th, then up to P2. That 5-second penalty has been enough to drop him down to P6. At the minute, he is not on the front row in the semi-finals, and that is really important. Timmy Hansen and Kevin Hansen move up as a result of that, and his teammate Andreas Backerud. 7th and 8th, Gronholm and Loeb. Loeb has moved down the order as well. Then it's Eriksson, Larsen, Markland and Timosyanov, your top 12. But look at the points on the right-hand side. There's still a chance maybe for Baumanis, Rustad, Grosjean and Rajala if they have a really good run here in Q4. I think below that, they're looking for big problems for a number of people at the top. So yeah, bit of controversy basically. Guy, what's your take on the 5-second penalty? You're a driver, so I know obviously drivers always don't want to get penalised, but there's a difference between the Backerud and the Ekstrom.
Yeah, there is. Obviously, Petter had probably 3/4 of a car length ahead of Matthias Ekstrom. With the Backerud and Larsen incident, Larsen was just a nose ahead, but Andreas had the inside line. I think that's what's more important. So split the two incidents. They're very different. The one with Ekstrom, he'll feel very aggrieved. I mean, you're flat out, absolutely flat out off the start line. 5 cars abreast. You've got probably 150-meter run to the first corner. You know, it's going to sort itself out, good or bad.
Q4 then is about to start. We've got race 1 on the line. Let's take a look at the grid. On the inside, Grégoire de Moustier, Max Pouscha, and then Sebastian Loeb. Everybody on used tyres. Look at the positions, 22nd and 23rd. You know, with respect, we know we're not going to see them in the semi-finals. Loeb in 8th. We're really, really keen to move himself up a bit further on the order. Where was he after Q2? See, Loeb was P2 after Q2. Then after Q3 has dropped down, right down into 8th place. Revs up. Loeb's got to get a good clean start here. Very, very long hold. So that's got to be towards the limit. Loeb's got a good start. Pouscha is going to stop behind him. I think de Moustier's going to let go as well. De Moustier's going to go joker, and Sebastian Loeb goes standard lap, which he really has to do, Guy, with these two guys against him.
Yes, because he couldn't go joker because he'd come out straight behind them and he would catch them. Then his whole race would be dependent on those guys, and when they took their jokers, he wouldn't want to get balked. You could see he's off like a rocket.
Be interesting to see what his lap times are like when he's completely in the clear as he is now. Look at that, absolutely full throttle. A lot of gravel being thrown up. Looks like they might have done maybe some more grading in between the sessions again.
No, we've had a couple of more races, haven't we? Different classes, so the lines have cleaned a little bit, but obviously the line does change slightly depending on the classes. Some of the rear-wheel drive classes and some are front-wheel drive classes.
Look at the way that Loeb has gapped the others just in the one lap, so he's a full 3.5 seconds ahead of Max Pouscha. Of course, you know, Sebastian Loeb is a 9-time World Rally champion. He is in a factory car, so to be expected to some extent, but what time can he do? The target times are all around the 2:40 mark. Remember, Kristoffersen's won all 3 sessions, so he only dipped under 2:40 once in Q1, and then it was a 2:40.4 and a 2:40.0.
The difference coming out of that corner, how much more rutted it is and undulating as the wheel moves in the chassis, quite a lot more than what it did in qualifying 3 this morning. And see Sebastian Loeb coming into the last corner here, hits the apex, bang on, a lot of movement in the car into the corner, but gets the car very neutral on the exit.
Tidily done up towards turn 1 again. You can hear there as he lifts off the rattle of the anti-lag through turn 1. De Moustier now gaining on Pouscha, and Pouscha isn't going to joker until the last lap, it looks like, so he'll be hoping not to catch him on this one and compromise his time.
Yeah, and de Moustier's had a difficult weekend. Yesterday he lost a wheel in a qualifier and that dropped him right down the bottom of the pile, but at the same time, you know, he's all over the back of Pouscha and Pucha's holding him up. He just wants a good clean race. This will be his last race of the weekend.
Sliding the car a little bit wide on the exit, and again that's one of those things where you get a bit keen on the throttle. I want to go, and actually you just saw just a tiny bit of wheel spin. How hard is it to be disciplined enough not to go full throttle when you haven't got the traction?
It is very difficult because it's a balance of the grip underneath you. You have to have very good feel in your foot and good traction out of the car on a slick tyre on a gravel surface that is loose.
That's a very good point. Nice analysis, Guy Wilkes. Pouscha up into the joker lap. De Moustier on the standard. Sebastian Loeb is out in the clear in front. Watch this. This was where he was really on. He's on the gas early again, but good traction from the Peugeot. Gets it back onto the tar, and he's going to set the time for everyone else to follow. Now, of course, up until now, we haven't had somebody so quick in the first race, so this might be a time which could stand a long way through the session. Watch the clocks. Here we go, up towards the finish line, and Sebastian Loeb does a 2:42.0, so a couple of seconds off the ultimate pace. In fact, he's off his pace from the rest of the weekend mostly, so apart from Q3, obviously, where he got that penalty. So, okay, but we need to wait and see what happens with the track conditions. Clear track for Loeb. He takes the first one, Grégoire de Moustier second, and Max Pouscha in third. Neil has managed to grab our French rally legend, who's fast becoming a Rallycross legend. Wonder what Loeb thinks about that run, if he thinks it was good enough.
Sebastian, it was a relief to see you take the joker on the last lap. What happened in Q3?
My spotter forgot to tell me, and I was not concentrated to count the laps, so I trust what he says, and he didn't say anything. I saw the 2 cars in front going to the joker. I was a bit disturbed, but I decided to listen what he says, so we forgot it.
But that's undone some of the damage. You still look good for the semis.
For sure, we should be able to go to the semi, but then we'll see how will be the start position. If we start behind, it's always more complicated. So it's life. I think it happens only one time in the life of a spotter, so it should be good now.
Thank you.
Sebastian,
There's a look back at that one. So Loeb with a really good start. Demoustier was never going to do anything, was it? Because basically Demoustier is at Sebastian Loeb racing. You might find your bills go up quite significantly if you take the boss out.
I don't think it was so much of that. I think it was a defined strategy, you know. Sebastian's in a factory car, he got a really good start, better reaction time, and obviously he said, if I'm going to do that, I'm going standard lap.
This was Loeb through the Joker, tidily done. Time is set. Race 2 getting ready, full grid for this one. Going to see another run for Alex Wirtz, who I have to say impressed me a lot more in the last run.
Yes, he did. He seemed to get to grips, and like I said, he's probably been watching video after video and sat down with the data. But I just want to touch on something that Sebastian Loeb said then.
Yeah.
He said about counting to 4, it seems ridiculous as a driver. I've made the mistake myself. You're so concentrated on what you're doing in the car, you're just making sure that you hit every mark, because it is down to tenths, hundreds and thousands. Then all of a sudden you feel so silly as you turn into the first corner and the one or two of the cars go into the Joker, knowing it's the last lap, and you've had nothing from your spotter, and you think, oh no, and your heart just sinks.
It's mad, isn't it? Because as you say, counting to 4 is a pretty basic skill, but it's not a basic skill when you're rattling around in a 600 brake horsepower supercar.
Plus, if I didn't look at it, and neither Sebastian, they show you the number of laps that you get every time you pass the start-finish line.
He missed it. He missed his Joker. Hopefully he'll still make it. Race 2 on the line. Here's the lineup. Johnny-Pekka Rajla on the inside. Gulan Shisharit, Alex Wirtz, Kjetil Larsen and Oliver Bennett. Rajla with an outside chance of making it and has put 2 new boots on the car as a result. Shisharit has had a frustrating weekend. Let's see how Alex Wirtz gets on. Lovely to hear from him in the pre-grid just a few moments ago with Neil. He's absolutely loving it. Yeah, well, he's obviously really come. Yeah, he said a night's sleep. I've had to think about it. It's gone in. It's not easy, as we've discussed in every session so far. But it was good to see him come out of the merge in P2. You know, I really like that. Well, let's watch him away from the line, and then we'll discuss a little bit more. And maybe follow him. We'll get to see if he's in the mix or not. Shisharit looking to prove what this car can do, and he's jumped the start. He hasn't. It's a brilliant start. 0.1 of a second though reaction time of Shisharit. That would have been a jump start. I think he got lucky there, Guy. The lights changed. No one can react at 0.1. It's humanly impossible.
Yeah, I mean, it looked for everything. All eyes that was a jump start, but it's not. Anyway, he is head down. He's very frustrated this weekend. I've had a little chat with him. You know, we've got a couple of gremlins going on with the car. He's been struggling. Yes, big battle going on behind. He's got a couple of gremlins with the car. He can't go down the box, and that's why we've seen him stall even off camera a couple of times in the Joker. But let's get back to racing.
So Wirtz in P2, behind him is Rajla and Bennett. He'll be hoping to press on a bit here with these 2 guys behind him. Rajla, I think, has got significantly more rallycross experience, but hasn't spent much time in this car either. So he's been driving the old Eklund Saabs and things, and it's a completely different beast to a bang up-to-date modern starred rallycross car.
It is. That's an outrageous opening lap, but probably helped by that start. But Gulan Shisharit just done a 41.7. Sebastian Loeb didn't even get into the 41s. His was a 42.
Rajla and Bennett have gone Joker. Larsen went on lap 1, so they've started in behind Larsen. So Larsen's actually doing okay here, and these 3 now hoping to chase down Wirtz. So Wirtz could be left out here just to enjoy the race, and the team might do that so he can just get some seat time, or they could respond to that Joker and stick him back in front of those guys, which would be frustrating for them. But Shisharit's on a flyer.
Big pressure when you haven't done a lot of rallycross, going to a Joker lap, which you only do once every race, although he's done it a couple of times. He's not going to Joker, but it's a big pressure because you only do it once in every 4 laps. So obviously he's only done it a couple of times. He's done a couple of good jump starts as well.
And it's on gravel as well, and as we've said, the gravel develops a lot more obviously than the tarmac does, so it's a really big ask, and that's one of the things Kristoffersen has said. In fact, even he struggles more with the Joker than someone like Solberg.
And absolutely, Wirtz even said himself that he's not comfortable with the car on gravel. It's gravel, the Joker, and it's a really high speed approach. You have to get the car sideways. So yes, he's probably going to follow Shisharit and Joker with him and hope that it comes out in 2nd place.
Larsen's going really sideways here with Rajla in behind. Shisharit goes into the Joker lap. A little bit of handbrake on the way in. In goes Wirtz behind. So watch Wirtz for the merge on the exit. I think Wirtz might have done enough. You know, it might be relatively close. No, he's done enough, definitely. Well done, Alex Wirtz. Great stuff. So Rajla has a look up the inside of Larsen behind, but can't make that stick. And now it's all eyes on Shisharit at the front to see what the time will be at the end. Oh, Rajla up the inside. Up the inside of Larsen. Larsen's on the lock, stops the other way. Don't drive over those curbs. They're massive. Both cars somehow stay together and stay on track. Shisha, though, coming round to the last corner, 2:42.0. This is his chance to prove that he had the pace this weekend. Lights the tyres up and he crosses the line with a 2:42.8. Very nicely done indeed. 8/10 of a second off the 9-time World Rally Champion Sebastian Loeb in similar track conditions. Tick the box. I can do it. It's a shame, isn't it? Like
it is. It's a brand new team. He's invested a lot of his own time and money to get this off the ground with GCK.
Shisha takes it. Alex Vert second, Larsen, Rajla and Oliver Bennett. So Shisha doing a nice job there. He's down with Neil Cole and I'm sure he'll be really, really pleased to have finally shown what he can do this weekend in Norway.
Galan, that was an incredible race, but your start was like lightning. What happened at the start?
You know, that's the start. Have to be like this, you know. But the whole weekend I've been struggling with the clutch, the gearbox. It's a bit frustrating for me this weekend because I have no chance to fight, you know. So we are still learning a lot with the car. It's really hard for me this weekend, you know. The speed is there, you know. I'm getting there, you know. I start to get confidence. I start to understand the sport. Really happy with the car globally. We just need to fix some issue we have, but we are getting there.
Have a look. Well, you're not going to see the start, but you did. You saw an orange wing disappear early. Now, Guy, we looked at the reaction times, and I say, if you look, nobody even looks because it's top left of your screen. The second they leave the line, our jump start sensors tell you what their reaction times were. Shisha was 0.1 of a second.
I'd like to see what the fastest ever reaction time is.
I don't think it's 0.1, and that's what I mean. See, we think, don't we, that he went there and he just got super lucky that the lights went when he went. And that's one in a million.
No, absolutely. To drop the clutch and fire that car off the line after you've seen that green light and get it to trigger because you're 10 centimetres back from that trigger as well. Nigh on impossible. You could try it, you know, 100 times and maybe not even do it.
That was the contact on the last lap between Rajla and Larsen, but it was Shisha who took race 2 after an amazing start and 4 very solid laps indeed. Crowd now filling up. It's not such a nice day. I'd go so far as to say it's a bit chilly compared to yesterday, but it was packed yesterday and it's starting to look packed again today. Q4 race 3. Last couple of cars pulling up towards the line. There's Rustad racing at home in Norway. So he would love to make it through to the semi-finals. He's currently P14 and he does need to gather 6 or 7 points more than Timosyanov in this session, and that's quite a tough ask, I think.
Yeah, it's a big ask at this late stage of the event. You know, this is the last chance saloon right here, Q4. So obviously, you know, he's wanting to hope that other people trip up and that he has an absolutely cracking race. And well, he probably will need to win this race.
Still waiting on 2 cars, Ekstrom and Munich. Ekstrom, of course, this far down thanks to that 5-second penalty, and again you put yourself in danger, don't you? Having said that, of course, you're in danger when you're with the top boys, and that's why Ekstrom got a 5-second penalty. But when you're in with the guys who are not quite operating at the same level, it can be a bit of a problem.
It's Q4, race 3.
Yeah,
this is the danger zone, isn't it?
Yeah, you always expect to see Ekstrom in the final 2, and here he is in this one. So, okay, who else is he? He's got Rennie Munich to come alongside him as well.
You have some desperate people. Rennie Munich, obviously, Tommy Rustad, Robin Larsen and Grossi Jinin. They're out at the moment, but they want to be into the semi-finals. Matthias Ekstrom is up there. He's just had, obviously, a 5-second penalty, which has dropped him down into not uncharted territory, but in a position he doesn't want to be. He doesn't want to really be racing these guys and get a bad start.
Okay, Ekstrom has got a gearbox issue we're hearing. Rennie Munich has pulled up to the start line. Ekstrom is missing from this, so a 5-second penalty. A 5-second penalty before this. I'd love to see. You can hit the tyre warming area is just round the corner. Where is he? Where is he? They're in the grid with him. There's the car. There's Ekstrom in the middle of your screen. You can see our commentary box. He's right behind us. They're pushing Ekstrom. Are they trying to push start the car?
I think it started. They're not trying to burn the clutch out. I think he's got it into a gear, and it must be a high gear.
Let's see if he tyre warms, Guy, or not. I don't think he's going to, is he? Go for a downhill start and just see if he can get it. So Ekstrom is maybe stuck in gear.
He doesn't want a DNS. he wants a DNF, because DNF he'll pick up points. Did not finish, he probably will go off the line. Let's see, because he won't want to damage the car.
Well, it's downhill as well, because you said about that. So he might. How high a gear could he get away with off the line?
Third,
He's
maybe
not,
slipping the clutch.
Is it he's going to pull up to the line. Look, how close is he going to get? He's not calling right up to the sensor, so I think he's just going to leave it where it is. But let's see. Well, Ekstrom with a last-minute problem as he pulls up to the line. Will he get away from it or not? Jerome Grosjean in on the inside from Robin Larsen, Tommy Rustad. Ekstrom with problems in the pre-grid after that 5-second penalty in the previous session. And Rennie Munich, new boots for Rustad and Larsen as they look to secure places in the semi-finals. But this is all about Matthias Ekstrom. He was second, he's down to 6th after the penalty. Is he even going to get that car off the line? And does it have a bad problem or not? We're about to find out, because the marshal's going to leave the grid. Thumbs up. Ekstrom's marshal was late to move, which suggests Ekstrom isn't even looking at him. He was looking down at the dash as he pulled onto the line. Look for the lights to go green. Watch Ekstrom in particular. No, Ekstrom's not even got it. He's going to get away very slowly. I think he tried, but he couldn't. Down into turn 1. Larsen is ahead of Rustad. Larsen pitches it in sideways. Look at the rotation on that, but Rustad gets him up the inside, right over the curbs. Larsen's going to try and come back alongside, in behind Munich. Has Ekstrom got away from the line or not?
In the back in the Rustad there. Ekstrom just went over the trigger.
He's still there.
To activate it, because he does not want.
Yeah, he wants to start, but not yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Get
DNF,
better points.
he'll get 20 points. Obviously, being last place. At DNS, he'll get 0 points. That would really hamper him.
Really switched on by the team to get him round there. And Matthias, of course, they're absolute pros, but that's going to drop him right down the order. Will he make the semis?
They knew exactly what they had to do. But back to the racing. Obviously,
Rustad and Larsen,
all over the back of Rustad, but Grosjean out in front. Let's see what his lap times are like.
So guys, have a look at the timing screen. I'm going to look at Larsen versus Rustad. Larsen was so sideways on the way in that he lost out a little bit on the exit. But Rustad, remember, made it through to the semi-finals at Silverstone. Matthias Ekstrom is still sitting in the car. I think he's going to pull off the net. He opens the door, so he knows it's race over. But as Guy said, it would be a DNF, not a DNS. There's a qualifying point system in Rallycross, which means you're penalised more if you don't make the start than if you don't make the finish. Grosjean in, hoping to match the lap times of his teammate Schischerin.
That car looked so good in the transition there, so nice and balanced. Yes, these boys are having a tooth and nail fight here. Rustad, they need a fast time, remember, so it's all about the merge when Grosjean comes off the joker.
Look at the way that Larsen moves the car around, Guy. He really chucks it around. He's always rotating on the way into the corner, isn't he?
Yes, he is indeed. And if you look from the outside, you wouldn't mistake that he's trying all the time.
No, it's great, isn't it? The crowd absolutely love him. Grosjean in. Do you think that the Pro Drive car looks good?
Yeah, it's good. He made a little mistake in the last corner, but in the transition here, look at the balance there. It looks so underneath him. In the lateral grip it picks up, and he gets it to the apex that time. Look how neutral and straight that car's going forwards.
And Larsen again almost on the inside of Rustad. Every time with the rotation he has a look. But this is what it's all about. Grosjean has gone deep. He's gone deep in the joker. He turns the car in. It's going to cost him time. I think he's going to lose out because of it. So a mistake in the joker lap from Grosjean in means that 2 cars get past.
Massive mistake. He got too wide and he caught the back end on the bank on the outside, which is really hard to pick up on the television camera, and he couldn't rotate the car into the corner.
Through the bottom corner, Rustad now leads from Larsen, chasing that 2:42.0 Sebastian Loeb. Up to the top of the hill, left over the crest. Look and see how bad that bump is. Not as bad as yesterday for me. Grosjean looks like he's really struggling with the car, so maybe there was something else. He couldn't get it turned in over the left. All the tyres smoking on both the lead cars. Rustad over the line. He's just 0.4 off the time of Loeb, and in the background, Rennie Munich with a bit of extra gravel section as he comes too tight over the jump and crosses the track on the inside. But that is the story. Ekstrom is looking down at the dashboard. Still, is he communicating with the team? Either way, it is a disaster. It's a DNF for Matthias Ekstrom. Rustad takes it from Larsen after a mistake from Grosjean, and Grosjean lost a lot of time on that last lap, so was there another problem? Rustad behind Loeb. Loeb, who raced in the first race, having missed his joker last time out, is still leading the standings. Neil is with Rustad.
Tommy, that was an incredible battle with Robin, and you came out on top.
Yeah, it was. Now it was win or lose. It was nothing to. I had nothing to lose. I need to be in front of Grosjean to have any chance to get into the semi-final, and I need some luck because some of the top 12 cars need to stop. I have some technical problems, so it was everything or nothing. So it's worked well.
Well, obviously Matthias did stop on the start, so that could be one less car ahead of you.
Yeah, I'd heard he had problem, but I just was going my own way, so I didn't see if he was getting out from the start or not.
Good luck, well done.
Thank you very much.
Here's another look at Ekstrom being left on the start. Look, he just tried to get the car away, so I suspect, as Guy said, it's in a real high gear. He's got it flat, trying to drag the clutch and just get it. He got it over the start, job done.
That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to knock that trigger post down that gets the reaction time in the jump start sensor.
This was Larson versus Rustad. These two had an absolutely brilliant bout through the whole race. They look like they're side by side so many times because of the nature of these brilliant four-wheel drive cars. Look at the tyre smoke coming off them. I loved it through the last corner. They were both like, come on, trying to get to the line.
Here we see Grosjean, you know, it was his own fault that he just got too wide, didn't get the car into the apex and lost a lot of time.
Unlucky for him, good time by Rustad, but disaster for Ekstrom. Really, really bad for Ekstrom. Nothing else to be said about it. That's an absolute disaster. I've got the times on the wall here. He was 6th after this, thanks to that penalty in Q3. He didn't actually have a great run in Q1, Guy. He was 8th in there. He's in danger of just not making it, but you think it's going to depend a bit on what these guys do?
Very professional by the team. Obviously, they realised they had a problem. We don't know if they realised they had a problem when they brought the car to the grid off. It was a last-minute problem, but they got the car to the start, and that was the most important thing. Obviously, Matthias doesn't want to cause too much damage to the clutch and make the job even bigger. If they have to do a transmission change now, obviously getting to a semis, we're under big pressure, time constraint, so they don't have to do a clutch change as well. So obviously, he didn't aggressively try and get the car off the line. He just did enough to make sure he started, made an effort, job done.
See whether or not he's dragged enough points out of that to see himself through to the semi-finals. If not, it is a bit of a disaster for him. Have a look at championship standings. See where he was coming to. Okay, Timozyanov is out of his car, so this is more drama. Timozyanov, who's in the next race, and Timmer was in P12, so that could help out Yannis Baumanis, but of course it could definitely help out Matthias Ekstrom. So you're on board with Baumanis, who's coming down to the back of the grid. It's all going off, Guy.
Yeah, this is not so normal. You know, they've had obviously quite a short time between Q3 and Q4, and obviously we're still fighting it out on the points in the qualification period.
There's Timozyanov, lids off, door slammed. Timozyanov in the background of your shot, behind the big TV truck that you can see there, the yellow, black and white Hyundai's parked up, and Timmer is talking to somebody over the fence. He's really disappointed, but that's played massively into the hands of Ekstrom and possibly into the hands of Baumanis and Rustad, who are just outside the top 12. Okay, race 4 is on the line, but Timozyanov is missing from the lineup. So let's take a look at the grid. On the inside, Niklas Gronholm. Next in was supposed to be his teammate Timozyanov, who we've just seen climb out of the car at the last minute. Anton Markland, Yannis Baumanis and Kevin Eriksson. Look at Yannis in 13th, Anton in 11th. Those guys helped out definitely by the retirement of Timozyanov, who was in 12th and is now not going to make it through to the semi-finals. What a shame. This is handy for Anton Markland, because he's got that extra space on the inside, but I suspect that Niklas Gronholm will probably try and nick some of that space as well, Guy, when they come off the line. If they, you know, they should both make use of it, shouldn't they? Absolutely.
You'll have Niklas Gronholm and Anton Markland trying to close that down and gain that advantage because of it.
Markland and Baumanis, remember, have got form from turn 1 earlier on this weekend. Start the Markland, but they still going to make everyone off the line as they can pass the common position. Baumanis turns in across. Baumanis goes standard lap. Sorry, joker lap, and everybody else goes standard lap. It's Gronholm who gets out in front, side by side for Eriksson and Markland. Bit of contact between them. Finally, they're in the line. So I think that worked out actually pretty well for Baumanis, because these three had a little squabble between turn 1 and 2.
It did indeed, and don't forget about Tommy Rustad, who just won that the last race, because he and Yannis Baumanis are fighting now because of Timozyanov dropping out. They're in P13 and 14, so this is all about race time. Oh, Anton Markland getting very wide over the crest there, dropping a bit of ground.
Really crossed up.
Eriksson, sorry.
We've just heard through commentary, from information from Racing Talk, it was a drive shaft for Timozyanov. So Timozyanov did a drive shaft on his way up to.
I wonder if he did it in the tyre clean. It's the only place I can think of.
Yeah, because he would have rolled it back from there, and of course we had a big queue of cars waiting. Good shout, Guy Works. So he's obviously done his tyre clean and broken a shaft and had to drop back out. So Unlucky for him. Markland continues to chase these guys down with Balmanis in front of him. Those two guys having both jokered. We haven't spoken much today about the joker lap time guy, and that's because it's been changing during the course of the day.
Yeah, absolutely, and also that a lot of people have been going in challenging for position as well. It's not just been one car going in there, so we've had a big mix-up in the joke times. But Yannis Balmanis has clear air, and he's setting pretty good sector times at the moment, so let's see what his lap time is. 38.8 as he comes over the line, but the fastest is Niklas Grunholm, 38.4.
How does it feel when you know, look at this, on board with Balmanis now, he knows he's in P13, he's just pulled up on the grid, and he knows that alongside him, one car away was supposed to be the guy who's in P12. He knows Tim has gone, he must be thinking, yes!
No, it makes you nervous, because you know you don't have to make a mistake, both yourself, you know, climbing over a curve, getting a puncture. It's perfect now for him, he's got clear air, it's all about him, he is in control, he's got nobody knocking him from behind, nobody to the side of him, he's dropped Markland just enough. It's all in his control. He's got to race time, remember, because Rustad's there challenging him. He's not in this race, Tommy Rustad, but he's challenging for a semi-final position.
To the joker goes Grönholm, followed by Ericsson. I think they're going to edge Balmanis. At least one of them is. Balmanis is going to have a look and shut the door, and Ericsson, very tidily done indeed.
Great bottle by Yannis Balmanis to keep sticking with that. He went all the way around the outside.
Good car control too on the gravel. That braking zone down the hill guy, you know, you've got gravity and gravel against you.
Kahunas to do that.
Yeah,
really did.
Excellent stuff. Balmanis has done a great job here. He's not going to beat Grönholm. He's Grönholm going to beat Lowe, who's still at the top of the timesheets from 4 races ago up towards the line. I think he might actually over the line. Grönholm has gone quickest so far in Q4. He's 0.7 near as damn it of a second faster than Sebastian Loeb, and Balmanis goes through in P2.
And more importantly, faster than Tommy Rustad.
So Balmanis is ahead of Rustad. Rustad was behind him in the standings. It's all going off here in Q4. Grönholm takes it from Yannis Balmanis, Kevin Eriksson, Anton Markland and Timo Timosyanov with a DNS. This is the standings of Q4. It's not going to be long before you're going to see the standings after Q4. Can't wait to see where everyone is going to be.
Niklas, talk us through that. That was the quickest so far. Great.
Yeah, I didn't feel so comfortable in the car. I don't know why, but okay, time seems to be the best one for me this weekend, so happy with that. But the fast guys are coming. Let's see what they will do. But anyway, we're in the semis, and that's the first target.
Well done, thank you.
Rightfully looks pretty happy with that performance. That was Balmanis up at the turn 1. I thought Balmanis, I say, did quite well off the start there. He moved quite quickly across.
Big impact there, wasn't it, between Grönholm, lateral impact against Ericsson, but he did exactly what he needed to do. You have to fight for that space into the first corner. And here we see him coming into the choke. It was a great lap, and obviously had a big smile on his face when Neil was just talking to him right then. Very happy to make semis again. He's doing so well this year, isn't he?
He's doing very well indeed. We think that Grönholm won a session in Spain, possibly. But oh, sorry, that was his last qualifying. I don't think he's ever won a qualifying session. Okay, let's have a look and see. Okay, so sorry, we're looking through stat sheets up here and in the TV truck. I can't see that Grönholm's ever won a session. So if he wins this session, it'd be the first qualifying session win for Grönholm, and it would also be the first qualifying session win for the Hyundai as well overall. So that would be a great performance if that happens. Final race is pulling up to the line. Last race, we've had drama, haven't we? Really have, you know, both Timosyanov and Ekström just suddenly.
But right from the start.
Yeah.
Q1 was wild. Q2, we also had some small problems, you know, with people that we didn't expect. This morning Q3 and now Q4. Who would, you know, Ekström first of all getting a time penalty, then the drama there. Also, Timo Timosyanov obviously not starting. It's a big shake-up, isn't it?
Massive. Ekström's a hard racer as well. These guys, I'm sure, will be relieved that he's not going to be on the front row in the semi-finals, because you can never count Ekström. He's a brilliant racer. He's clinical. He's like Kristoffersen. He's got that killer instinct. Have him further down the grid if he makes the semis. And of course, we think Well, the Timosyanov situation is going to help him out. Is it going to be Balmanis or Rustad? You're going to see another. Might they both go through? You know.
And Audi just haven't quite been there like Peugeot and VW. Although every now and again they show flashes of it, but not consistently.
Yeah. Like, you know, winning a couple of sessions here and there. And Baccarat, certainly, you know.
He's going to have his work cut out here. He's P5 on the grid. He's outside. So even if he wants to go Joker, I'm sure there'd be somebody inside going there. So let's watch what his tactics are.
Baccarat sliding up to the grid. There's a couple, 250 people in blue will be cheering him on, but I suspect there's several thousand others that will be, as well as Solberg. So 2 Norwegians in the final race of qualifying here from round 5 of the FIA World Rallycross Championship in Norway. Johan Kristoffersen is on the inside. He's won every session so far. Could he get the clean sweep of the sessions? Could he get the second clean sweep ever? Next to him, Timmy Hansen. Then it's Petter Solberg, Kevin Hansen, Andreas Baccarat. Look, they were the top 5 in the last session, and they're actually the top 5 in qualifying so far as well. So who's in the lowest position? Baccarat down in 5th. So a place on the front row in the semi-finals is what's up for grabs here. You need to be top 4. That gives you the best chance at choosing. Timmy Hansen gives the nod to the marshal. It was quite an aggressive nod because he's ready to go. The last tighten of the belts. Here we go. Great start. Arjen backwards. Solberg's gone backwards. Kristoffersen up the inside. He gets the door shut by Baccarat. Baccarat though goes straight to the joker lap. Solberg's going to try and go around the outside. Kevin Hansen's gone too. Kevin Hansen looking for traction up the inside. Can't find it. And that's released Kristoffersen and Timmy Hansen to the standard lap.
Right, we have a proper race on here then. Andreas Baccarat versus Johan Kristoffersen. They've got clear air. It's between these two if they're going to win.
Be really interested to see if Baccarat's got the pace in the Audi. We know the Peugeots, yes, they're saying Q2 weren't there, but then in Q3 they were all over the back of the VW, and I guess if the others are bottled up behind Baccarat, we'll know the Audi hasn't got the pace here this weekend.
And also he was compromised going into the joker because he had 2 cars following, so he had to defend and he had to take a tighter line, which compromised his mid-corner speed and exit speed.
Solberg with a load of correction on the exit there to keep himself out of the rear of Kevin Hansen, takes a wider line on the way into the corner. You can see the two of them very different. I was watching the Peugeot on the brakes guy on day 1. They're turning in, and the rear of the car looks so nervous, but it looks so pointy. It's got great turning on it.
Great turning, great balance, but these guys are on the pipe. They're both knocked in 41-second opening laps from a standing start.
Absolutely fully lit. Kristoffersen with Timmy Hansen going with him. Timmy would love to win. It's going to be the first weekend that he doesn't win a session, but Kristoffersen wants to get on board. You can see mid-corner here how
Timmy Hansen is really confident that car underneath him. Johan has to slide that VW a little bit more. Timmy drives it really neutral. Yes, a little drift, but he's looking at the side door of the VW, isn't he?
So we think the Joker was about 3.8 seconds yesterday, which is roughly what the gap is back to Baccarat now. This is going to be super, super close, and the lead 2 cars have decided to leave it until the last lap. You're on board with Baccarat now. He looks tidy, guy.
He does look very tidy, and he is dropping the 2 cars behind him ever so slightly, Hansen and Solberg, but he's not on the pace of Kristoffersen and Hansen. But
you can see the revs kicking on the floor there, and they just peak where the wheels are spinning.
Yeah, absolutely, and as we follow these 2 through into this last corner, obviously as we come to the last lap,
Kristoffersen up and over the crest. Timmy Hansen is so close behind him. Looks like Peugeot might have found some pace as we head towards the semis. They're absolutely on the limiter as they come past Coventry. Fastest out of the day. Timmy Hansen through the joker lap. Baccarat could be close, but I think they're going to edge him. Baccarat would love to get P2. He's going to have to slide to P3. He sees them going in front. It's close. VW, Peugeot and Audi again are super close here in Norway.
This is great from Andreas Baccarat because he's not been quite on the pace, but he's really dragged this out of the fire. He's on fire, and let's see how close he can get to the back of Timmy Hansen's car with 2 corners to go.
2:41.3 is the target time of Niklas Gronholm. Is he going to take a session here for the first time for Hyundai, or is Kristoffersen going to do it as they round the last right-hander and head up towards the jump at the finish line? Kristoffersen 2:39.3. He's won all 4 qualifying sessions and is on imperious form here. 1.9 seconds faster. 2:39.2, that's the fastest time of the weekend. That is the fastest. He's gone 6/10 quicker than he went in Q1 yesterday. Brilliant performance from the world champion. Timmy Hansen really close behind him. The Peugeot was flying with that fastest lap as well. Baccarat proving that the Audi's got the pace as we head into the final stages of the weekend. Kevin Hansen and Petter Solberg. Solberg look dropping down to the bottom of this screen, and we'll be able to have a look. Niklas Gronholm great in 4th place, but very much looking forward to seeing what these results mean for the overall standings. on board with Solberg. Guy, talk us through it.
Yeah, we're going to see Hansen to his left, Kevin Hansen, obviously second gear start, and then Andreas Backerud. Everybody's ahead of him. How often do we see that? Peter Solberg at the back, but he ducked out and decided he was going joker. We see here obviously the rear, out the front of Peter Solberg's car, Kevin Hansen and Andreas Backerud.
It's really interesting there. Backward's gone in all fully lit and sideways, and then you see Kevin's gone in really gingerly and tidy on the inside and still finds some time. Solberg's tried to go round the outside, round the inside. There's quite a few different techniques through the Joker, but these two, look, this was impressive. And Timmy, I'm impressed with too.
Oh, well, Timmy's been fast all year, hasn't he? But Andreas Backerud, it's his first year in this Audi, isn't it, EKS, and it just hasn't quite gelled with it, but at the same time, let's hope he's going to gel with it for the semi-final.
Fantastic job by Kristoffersson. Well, there you go, Johan Kristoffersson with 4 qualifying session wins. That's the first time this year that anybody has won every session. Timmy Hansen gets second place in the standings from Solberg. It will be Kristoffersson versus Solberg into turn 1 again in the semi-finals. They need to avoid each other, but it's Hansen versus Hansen in semi-final 2. Brilliant. Backward makes it through for Norway. Niklas Gröner with another outstanding performance in the Hyundai. Sebastian Loeb's gone through. Kevin Eriksson for IMSC, great job. Larsen, Ekstrom's made it. Ekstrom makes it into semi-final 2. He'd be on the inside of the back row. Anton Markland for the second event. No, sorry, he didn't make it in. He didn't make it back in UK, but Anton's made it through here, so that's great. We've got a wild card gone through, and Yanis Balmanis in 12th. Rustad, look, just misses out. It's a shame for him. I say he made it back at the last one. The 2 GCK cars, disastrous weekend for them. Unfortunately, they nearly made it. If they hadn't happened in Q1, Raja looked down in P16. It's a big entry here. Alex Wirtz continuing to learn. Timur Zyanov, such a long way down, and he was right up there until he broke a drive shaft in the pre-grid. What a shame for him.
So me and Sebastian both analysing the qualifying standings after qualifying 4. Obviously you're in the semi-final, but that hiccup in qualifying 3 has set you back a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. We missed the joker lap, so 30-second penalty, and I was 23 in the heat, so not some good points, and I was second overall before that, and I went to 8th overall, so it's not good.
Well, have a look at the screen now. We're going to show you the first lap of your race in Q4, and this was like a masterclass. Talk us through it.
Yeah, I tried my best to be first on the first braking. I needed really not to be stuck behind someone, and then I pushed really hard. I think the bad luck I had is that the track improved during the heats, and so I did a clean run, but it's not enough. But now I'm 7th overall, second row outside in the semi-final. It's not the best place, but we will see.
It's great to watch you taking the joker there. It's such an interesting joker, isn't it? It's an uphill, fully sideways. It looks fun.
Yeah, it looks fun, especially when you take it. The round before didn't like so much the joker, but okay. Yeah, it's a nice track. We enjoy to drive here. It's really fun to slide there around with the car.
And once again, you've got all 3 Peugeots into the semi-finals, and the car looks strong, you know, and obviously it's a throwback to your WRC days that you were cleaning the gravel off the road, being in that earlier race. If we have a look now, we'll see how, of course, the way that the qualifying works is that the top 12 go through into the 2 semi-finals. So while you take a photograph of that, this is how it splits up. So, of course, odds go to semi-final 1, evens go to semi-final 2. This is the job that Andrew Coley would normally do, but I'm doing it now, so there we go. Yeah. So, pole. So there you go. That means that you're P4 in semi-final 1. What do you think about that, Seb?
I think the 3 guys in front of me are very strong, so it will not be easy. We need to finish in the 3 first to get in the final. That will be a hard one.
Now, look at semi-final 2. It's like 4 Swedes, a Finn and an Austrian. That's a very Scandinavian semi-final there. You're happy not to be in that one? And your teammates as well?
Yeah, my teammates are there, but 2 Volkswagen and 1 Audi in my heat is not easy.
Okay, thank you very much, Sebastian. We'll let you go. I know you've got to get ready for the semis, so thank you and good luck.
Thank you.
Bon courage. And I'll just pass that over there to, I've been miraculously joined by the 2 tallest men in the paddock. It's Andrew Coley and Guy Wilkes. Is there something I can stand on?
Well, maybe not. It's somebody's toolbox.
Yeah, no, take it out, you bend it, don't stand on that. Yeah, they're shouting not to stand there. It's getting told off by all sorts of people here. Don't worry, we'll duck down like this, it's easier.
So,
yeah, for me, the interesting thing about if you look at the semi-finals, it's the fact that you've got the two VWs on the front row in semi-final 1, and then in semi-final 2 you've got the two Hansen brothers. So there's an interesting mix of cars on the front row. Christopherson and Solberg have got to avoid hitting each other.
They definitely
Neil
have.
Cole's going for a height advantage here.
But what about the sort of controversy? Because Matthias Ekstrom clearly wasn't happy with being done for unsportsmanlike behaviour.
No, we looked at the two incidents, the one with Bakkerud compared to the one with Ekstrom, and it is a bit different. I think Ekstrom's hit him quite hard at quite high speed. He obviously felt he wanted to know why that decision had been made, and so he went and had a chat with them, and they told him why, and he accepted it and made you carry the paper. And
so, but standing next to you is Guy, and of course you know what it's like in the heat of the moment when you're door to door, side by side. Do you think it was harsh as a penalty, or do you think he was a bit of a...
I saw it from Pettis on board, as we all did, but I would like to see it from Matthias's, because, to say it was harsh or give it any sort of adjudication on it is very difficult when you only see it from one angle, but we saw the impact. It was a big impact, but at the same time, those things happen. It's rallycross. It can be the rub of the green, decision of the stewards. I don't believe they have a driver in with the stewards, but I think sometimes in those situations it's very important to have a driver's opinion. Was it deliberate, was it accidental, or was it just, like we say, rallycross?
Well, it looks there's an amazing domination again by Johan Kristoffersen. In fact, more dominant here than he's been so far this season during qualifying. What did the other teams like these have to do to match not just him but PSRX?
For me, what's interesting is I think Peugeot got better pace today. If you look, Timmy was able to follow Johan through the whole thing. So what they've got to do to beat them basically is out-tactic them. They're not going to meet them until the final, remember. So we've got the two Hansen brothers are in the second semi-final on the front rows. In all likelihood, one of them is going to be the one who's going to go through to the front row in the final. I strongly believe you need a front row here if you want to challenge for the win.
Quickly. Also the start is critical, Obviously, we're going to semis now, so it's only 2 cars, 2 at the front, 2 in the middle and 2 at the back. So it's not 5 cars abreast. That is very important, to get a good start. If you're on the front row, P1 against P2, that is the chance that Peugeot have when they come against VW, hopefully, in the finals. Not predicting anything.
All right, well, let's hopefully some of the teams have been watching that for some nice advice on how to beat the Volkswagens. Anyway, thank you guys, great job in comms. We'll be back in, just over an hour and 15 minutes for the live show. We'll check your listings where you can watch us live on TV, because these semi-finals and the final are going to be epic. So thank you very much for watching. Share this, tell everyone. We want to do more of this, so if you like it, make sure that people know. Thanks, guys, and we'll see you very shortly on telly.